Here we are then for another episode of the McLaren Return to Glory. Yes, it has been a couple of days, but we're back on it, and hopefully now we'll try and close out season number 1 as we arrive for round 16 of 23 for the Singapore Grand Prix. And yeah, we're going to see exactly how that pans out in just a moment. Before that, if you haven't seen the last episode, guys, as always, the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, previous episode, the plug is always in the top right. Go check it out. Also, playlist as well on my channel if you want to go see it that way. Either way, go check out the last race. It was really fun, really intense, and Ferrari did a bit of a weird strategy with Binotto basically taking it back over. So yeah, spoiler warning, we're going to jump into this weekend's action. So first things first, upgrades as always. Rear floor under tray for the chassis arrived. Failure on control electronics, which isn't good because we only have the current one we're using right now left. We don't have any spares, so I want this upgrade to basically reduce the wear on it. So hopefully we get that come through in a couple of days. We get a general wear upgrade from Mercedes-Benz, which is nice, so cheers to them for that. And also we're going to go ahead and add to that by doing a chassis upgrade of our own on the energy store cells positioning. So yeah, that's going to be a major, and that will help us out quite a bit. And now we have a powertrain department event. So pretty simple. We got asked, to trust the department or go with my own personal feedback in terms of the direction to improve, development. And we've done this before, but once again, I'm going to choose to trust the team in their judgment. So we arrive at Singapore a few days later, and a bit more time had gone past, and we get confirmation of that upgrade for the control electronics. Also, we get another supplier upgrade for the pistons, which is engine power, so that's a nice little bonus there from Mercedes-Benz. And also the wheel rim covers have arrived on the Aero, so quite a few upgrades on the car this weekend, which is really nice, and we're going to have hopefully a nice improved package. After that, we're going to now jump into the weekend's kind of updates and the weather forecast, other teams' upgrades. So you can see no rain, which is good because Singapore is such a long race weekend. And then as for other upgrades, you can see the general field spread, besides AlphaTauri, is really closing now. We're all kind of converging into one, and the margins are getting really close. Even before the end of this season, I sense a reg change might be on the horizon because we're going through the upgrades really quick, but that could be me, I could be wrong. Who knows? Anyway, let's get to practice and let's get the weekend underway. So here we are then, night skies, practice time. Looking to try and see if we have a decent car, decent package here this weekend at Singapore. And to be fair, we were pretty damn quick, at least at the time anyway, on these medium tyres in practice. We had very good tyre wear, which I noticed straight away. Even on the softs, we had really good tyre wear. Fuel consumption is pretty high, as you'd expect. There's a lot of gear changes. I believe the most gear changes of the season per lap around here. So it's a busy circuit, a lot of corners as well. So you're basically constantly busy. It was the track with the most corners until Jeddah arrived. So yeah, even still, it's probably got more corners than Jeddah because a lot of the ones in Saudi Arabia aren't really corners. They're basically flat out sections. But we lost a lot of acclaim after practice for some reason. Not sure why. We hit all of our targets, but we got a bit of a hit in the acclaim section. But we're going to jump into qualifying, and we're going to see if the pace is there and if we can put the practice pace into qualifying pace and see if we can hopefully, try and get a decent result, because qualifying here is going to be really key. Any street circuit, qualifying and having track position is the ultimate thing you strive for. So here we are, Q1, soft tyres on. As always, we're going to go for our usual 2-lap run, so we'll see what our first banker is as we make our way at the end of sector 3. A little bit of a brush with the wall there, so we'll check for damage in a moment.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now, everything's looking good.
And all clear, no damages, as we set a 38.2 and go P6, which isn't too bad for an opener as we let traffic by. I then went for a second push lap, and we're now 3/10 up, so finding quite a bit of time. Currently P13, and we're now trying to wrestle the car through the final part of the lap here, and just trying to see if we can squeeze out any more time. And to be fair, that's exactly what we're doing, as we're pretty much 4/10 up, making our way through the final corner. We find a load more time, and we're going to improve by 4.5 tenths, purple in sector 3, and that gives us P6, and I reckon that could get the job done for us in qualifying as we finish, as you can see, P6, Hulkenberg there, P10, and the gap to safety is about 0.8 of a second to Lance Stroll. So I think we're going to stay in the garage here and not take a chance and not go back out. And yeah, smooth session, everything went well. Lando up in the top 7, a couple of tenths up the road, and to be fair, the margins are pretty tight for such a long lap and so many corners. the field spread's really tight. The top 16 were really competitive. Either way, we got through comfortably, half second in our back pocket. So yeah, car working well and reasons to feel confident and optimistic heading into Q2. So here we go, soft tyres on again. This is a fresh set of tyres and we're going for 2 runs or 2 laps on this particular run. So yeah, a bit of traffic up ahead, which shouldn't get in the way. We should be alright to hopefully end the lap and clear the traffic without any troubles. And we're going to see what we can do as a banker, also comparing to Q1. So here we go, making our way through the final few corners. We brushed the wall again, just like in our first Q1 run, and it's going to be a 1:37.8, so a good lap there, to be fair. Decent banker as we go P6, so matching our Q2 or Q1 result, sorry, to get into Q2. And I'm then going to go for a second push, and we're going to see if this lap can get us into Q3. So exit important, turn 1. Don't bring the car too much up to the right this year because of the marbles. You can actually get too many marbles and basically lose grip into turn 1 and 3 as we get a lot of understeer. And that wasn't my best turns 1 and 3, but somehow we gained time. Turn 4, pretty nice, running it right up to the wall and getting a very clean exit, making our way then through Raffles Boulevard to close out sector 1, and we're currently up by half a tenth on Esteban Ocon. Through this left-hander we find a bit more time as we're now a tenth up into now the right-hand hairpin. Good bit of time getting an entry, but we lost a bit on the exit, and then also just a bit wide at the apex through that long left, and we have a bit of a moment on traction, so we're basically still running the same advantage on the delta as we now throw the car into the Anderson Bridge section, trying to see if we can find a bit more lap time in this very low speed mechanical grip section. And we are starting to now just crawl a bit to find those extra couple of tenths and make that margin. At one point nearly 3 tenths up, now just a tenth and a half up as we make our way into sector 3. Hard on the brakes, turn 13 I believe, using all the runoff as we get back on the power, and now the chicanes. So first off, a right left, which we use a lot of the inside curve on the first right but not any of the second part. Now we've got a left right, which again, not too much curb on the left, but then we try to get a bit more of the right, but get a bit of understeer. And now a right left under the bridge, and yeah, finding a bit more time through here as we close out that bit of a poor exit. Didn't quite get the last one right, and we just run a bit wide with understeer, but we improve to a 37.6 and P7, which is pretty decent. I'm happy with that, to be fair, considering all the first runs. I went back to the garage, and you can see we are safe by half a second to Bottas and Stroll. Lando's P14 right now, but I thought, you know what, half a second, I reckon that should be fine, so we're not going to go back out. Unlike Q1, we got caught out big time. Big mistake. Everyone drastically improved, and that kind of caught me off guard, to be fair. There was a lot of cars that found time, and yeah, we got knocked out. So unfortunately, our qualifying comes to an unexpected early end, as I thought we had the pace to get into Q3 quite easily, and I tried to save a set of tyres for the race, and it backfired. So yeah, work to do in the race. You never know, there might be a few grid pens which might just bring us into the top 10 for the start of the race, but that is not exactly ideal. So yeah, we're gonna have to try and fight back in the race. So to be fair, had we got into Q3, I don't know how much more pace there would have been in the car, maybe a 0.4, but it wouldn't have been much more than maybe P8 at best. So I'm not totally mad, but just not exactly ideal. So yeah, qualifying done. Let's move to the race and let's see if we can try and fight back and turn this one around.
Marina Bay hosted a Grand Prix that briefly ran in the 60s and 70s, but the Garden City re-entered the calendar for good in 2008. We missed it for a couple of years, but it was great to come back to the Singapore Grand Prix. It's a 3.1 mile lap here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit with 47% taken at full throttle. It's hot, humid and bumpy around the 13 lefts and 10 rights of mostly slow corners. But we should see speeds of up to 200 miles per hour along the Raffles Boulevard. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Russell, Perez, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Gasly, Martinez, Bottas, Magnussen, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Joe, Albon, De Vries and Logan Sargent. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Natalie Pinkham joins me once again in the commentary box. It's fantastic to have you with us today. I'm curious though, how do you think the drivers stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, the regulations aren't new anymore, but the teams and the drivers are still coming to terms with them. I firmly believe it's also track specific. We've seen some wheel-to-wheel racing throughout the year. Some tracks lend themselves better to it than others. I'd like to see it at every race in the whole season. Is that too much to ask?
Right then, here we go. Time for the race. P11 on the grid. Track position is going to be very key, very important. So, yeah, for this one, the game recommends a hard tyre to medium tyre strat, which I don't mind, but isn't exactly ideal. I'm going to trust the team though, because I feel like they must know something I don't. Either way, the plan is to take the hard tyre quite long into the race, go for a very long first stint, try to get maybe a bit of an overcut, which could be a decent option, as we'll be on track longer. There could be a safety car, a VSC, and then switch to the medium and hope to get that tyre to the end. So, yeah, pretty decent. I don't mind. We'll just go for it and see what happens. Set up the same, no changes, everything good to go. I'm not going to waste any time as it is a long, long race. So let's get into it and let's try and recover these places. I'll be so much happier racing this track once the new update with the new layout comes in, and basically we shorten the lap times by 10 seconds. That'll be a very welcome change for 31 laps of this bloody track. Right, here we go then. Let's get to work. Lights are on. And they're out. And it's a really good start from us. Look at that. Jumping a couple of cars already as we head down to turn 1. We're going to also get Lando. And we're going to get Ocon. Wow, what a start. Super good aggression. And we're up into P7, so that is insane. That gets us right in the race already. And we're putting Checo under big pressure here early on. Pierre Gasly on the medium tyre behind. Gonna have to use the battery. We don't have a lot of straight line speed as Gasly goes up the inside. Well, he runs a bit wide at the apex, but we keep him at bay and defend the line. We'll see if the hard tyre can switch on and hold on. I've got good temperature, so I'm able to push straight away, but Pierre will be fast using full power and that medium in this opening first lap or so. Well, let's see if we can try and hang on to these cars ahead. I feel like we've got a good race car, so we can do it, but we're going to have to be very, very good. Anyway, good start. Let's focus up and let's see if we can try and stick with the game plan here. Right, job done. We've kept up, which is exactly what we had to do. So we've got a race on our hand today, which is great. DRS will now be enabled.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Also not having to use a ton of battery so far, which is also very encouraging. Really good stuff so far. Right then, Checo out of DRS. A couple of breakaways. Got a battle for P3 and a battle for P1. And now we're going to see hopefully a battle for P6. Tyre wear is very low, which is great. First warning, no big concern. Just a slight out of bounds, but we can avoid that quite easily. VERSTAPPEN isn't that quick, so I think he's in a hard tyre as well. Red Bull don't seem that quick this weekend though. They're not great. I was lining up a move on Perez, but he's got back within DRS range of Russell. Brushed the wall there, but no damage. Very light contact. Right, so we've dropped Pierre out of DRS range. Hopefully that helps Lando a little bit. That medium should be starting to just struggle a bit in the next couple of laps. So the hard tyre should start to get an edge now. Ooh, moment there. Car did not like that curve for some reason. Luckily we survived and we still got DRS. Here we go. The pit stop dance begins. Carlos Sainz in the pit lane, but he started on a hard tyre. Ferrari with the weird strategies again. Bonotto clearly back in charge in the last 2 races. I mean, what the hell is that all about? That might just open up things a little bit now though. That medium tyre looks very good. Russell holding on. Gasly keeping Norris at bay quite easily. We'll see what happens. Either way, still got a few more laps before the pit stop dance begins. I'm not so comfortable on these anymore. Back end feels a bit loose. But yeah, bit of a procession so far, and just a big old DRS trend. I don't really have that much more pace than Perez, so I'm struggling to get a move done. Also, I'm quite happy here at the same time. I'm quite comfortable. We're able to keep a full charge, and I'm basically waiting when, you know, Russell pits, we can try and pull the trigger and open up a little bit of pace. So yeah, let's see. I'll still try if I can edge towards Checo, who now definitively is out of Russell's DRS, so we can try and close in now. Maybe this could be the lap now. We can look for a move. A little bit wide through there. Traction wasn't great, but we're close enough to try it. Yep, this is the closest I've been. Here we go. DRS and battery deployment. Little dummy. Oh, didn't make it. Outbroke myself. After that Checo through, got that one wrong. Just got a bit on the marbles too much and just lost grip. Couldn't get the car stopped. Okay, we'll try that again. Nice and close here. Much better through the first couple of corners. Good exit. There we go. Even closer this time. Let's see if we can try and get the move. Checo defends early. To the outside. Bit of a timid overtake attempt. Down the inside though. And that will do. Thank you very much. Russell should be pitting soon, so that will give us free path to try and chase after Max Verstappen. So let's see if we can try and push a bit here in some clean air.
We're approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums.
Also dropped Checo out of DRS range, which is perfect. Now is the time to push. Oh, Hulkenberg out. First retirement of the race, but seems like no safety car, which I don't mind, to be fair. Oh, okay, Leclerc pits.
Okay, we want you to pit this lap, so push now, push.
Hamilton in as Sargent retires. Russell will be in this lap as well, as Hamilton has opened the door for him. Alright, we're going to obey the command and box this lap. We've got ourselves in this race, so don't want to mess it up now. Also, Russell will be on the hard tyre, will be on the softs, or medium, should I say. So we'll have the advantage in terms of warm-up. Verstappen in as well. Here we go. Slow it down. Oof. That was on the limit, but that was a really good pit entry. And I got us in with a fighting chance here. Russell might get held by Verstappen's release. Yes. Oh, not quite though, still behind. That's a shame. Right, so the front two, that's them making their way down. We've got traffic here down to turn one. Bottas holding up signs.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
Right, Russell on hards, and we're on mediums, and you can see we have grip already. We have an advantage here. The Merc is very, very slippery on the straight. Whoa, almost losing the front wing there. Here we go then, on Russell, wasting no time as we go through. Oh, we just get it slowed down, stopped. Well, that's a move for position, which is key. Just try and get within Verstappen's DRS, as he's going to be stuck behind Magnussen here. I'll say that, he's actually getting a move on, to be fair. Which is good time loss, as you can see. That brings us right into play. This is our time to strike. Very close to the wall there, almost lost my front wing. Sainz also can't get past Bottas, although I'll say that he just has, to be fair, looking at the mini-map. So we're going to get held up by Magnussen here in this final sector quite badly. Just going to sit behind and wait. Not too sure where we're going to pass, to be fair. So we'll just give it a second. It's going to cost us some overall time to the battle ahead, but gives me a chance to also recharge the battery a bit. Lando pits.
Lando's coming in for his stop now.
Oh, oh my God. Ooh. Verstappen with a huge mistake. Russell trying to put the pressure on. All three of us with DRS. I'm going to go down the middle. I'm committing. I'm taking that position. That is mine. I had to let go of the brake and let the car roll into one, but we're through. And that moves us into P4. Net P4. Hamilton, Leclerc out front. Sainz P3 on a medium. Let's see what kind of pace we have. Can we try and drop Max Verstappen here? Okay, so we're flying, catching up to Sainz, who of course has to stop again as he pit really early on that weird strategy. So right now we're looking at a net P3 and back-to-back podiums. Here we go then. We'll look to pass Carlos comfortably without using any battery if possible. Make it a nice efficient pass, and then that will be our golden ticket to try and break away from Verstappen. So we'll use Sainz as a bit of a stumbling block to try and break away and for him to get stuck behind. So just got to try and make sure we stay nice and tidy through here, get nice and close, pass him cleanly on the back straight with DRS and drive off into the sunset. We can break the DRS within a lap. There we go. Waste no time. Use all the battery and we go straight through. Now let's try and break away and open up a gap to Verstappen, which could potentially lock in a podium here. There we go. We're gone. We've checked out. Gonna see if I can try and save battery as Sainz pits. So we have a 2.5 second gap to Verstappen now. Just got to try and manage. Hopefully Verstappen and Russell maybe battle amongst themselves and keep themselves busy. Sorry for not talking much. Having to really concentrate here. Verstappen and myself are locked in for lap times. We're basically identical. I'm managing to keep the gap at 2.5. What I need is a bit of help from Russell to battle with him. But we're working hard. I'm sweating like crazy. It's so warm. But we're looking good for this podium. 7 laps to go. God, I'm sweating like crazy. Verstappen's keeping me on the limit here. He's gradually closing in. Trying to keep him out of DRS range as long as I possibly can. But I'm running out of battery myself. 4 laps to go. Starting to struggle on tyres now. Verstappen is right there. He doesn't have DRS. I think he does actually. Yeah, he does. Okay, so Verstappen's here. I'm also very limited on fuel. Right, here we go. Last lap. Verstappen closer than ever. This is a complete sweat fest, man. And I'm managing fuel as well. I'm on the limit on everything. Just got to try and coast in the key areas. AI going to be in full power mode now as well. So we're going to have to be very, very smart with how we manage things.
Less than 1 lap of fuel left now. The tank's pretty much empty.
That was an excellent exit out of turn 3. And that was a good exit out of turn 4 as well. So that should do the trick. Just got to keep it clean now for the rest of the lap. So Charles Leclerc is going to be your winner in Singapore tonight. Hamilton in a brilliant second place. And we're going to score back-to-back podiums on completely different circuits. Monza and Singapore, as we get yet another podium and some other big points in the championship over Aston Martin. And this one was a real graft, but I'm happy with that.
Yes, and that's a podium. Excellent drive. The whole team have worked especially hard this weekend, and that, my friend, is a fantastic reward. Well done.
It's never easy to make it across the finish line here in Singapore, but they've done so with some style here today to take a remarkable victory. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, they are very much at one with the car, which is a cliche, but it's true. It's not an easy process, and that work is very much paying off.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again.
mate, I am sweating. I went go-karting today, so I'm also shattered. So I'm glad this race is done. 31 laps of Singapore always feels like 100% race for some reason. It just drags on for so damn long. Either way, happy with that. Good race, good result. Charles Leclerc wins, Hamilton second, and we bag another podium. Verstappen, Russell, Perez, Lando P7, best of the rest in a way, ahead of Sainz. And then Gasly, Ocon score the final points. So no points again for Aston Martin. Alonso P13, Lance Stroll P16. And that could be decisive in the championship. So, Drivers' Championship, we're now 9 points behind Alonso. Game on for P7, and it's all to fight for. The gap over Lando has increased to 17 points now with that point swing, so making big progress. Both of us now pretty much locked in to finish P9 and P8 or above in the Drivers' Championship this season. Leclerc 15 points out front. Constructors, look at the gap. That is awesome. 43 points to Aston Martin. We can afford to take a bit of a breather. And yeah, we're hitting form at the right time. And with only a handful of races left, we could be looking to lock up that 4th place in the Constructors. So guys, a great race. Leave a like, subscribe as always. It really helps me out. I'm going to try and get this video turned around for you guys to get this out ASAP tonight. And yeah, as always, a big shout out to the members for supporting the channel. Check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. And it's goodbye from me.